Well, I may have built my own adventure bike, but how am I going to take anything with me? We need luggage.
MT-07 Adventure Bike Series. We'll bolt some parts on, then we'll go off-roading.
Finally, we're getting to the video about the luggage on the bike. If you haven't seen the last few videos, I just put a link here and we talk about what we did in the last video. A lot of really cool stuff. That's what we did, okay? And if you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. That does help us out with silly analytic things that other people out there in the world want to see. I think only like 40% of y'all watching these are subscribed, so please do that. That's like a free, easy way to help me out. If you'd like to really help us out and get something out of it yourself, go over to Patreon, check out this version of the video, which is this much longer over there. This entire series is this much longer over there. It's not a gambling service where you might win a motorcycle. $1 a month, you get to see full backlog of all our stuff. So if you're not a Patreon and you're going, I don't want to hear about it, too bad, because that's why you're seeing any of this content at all. We need to put luggage on the bike. We need to take camping stuff on the bike. I want to show you all that stuff in this video. Revzilla hooked us up with this again, and I believe this is actually one of their in-house brands, Reacts, yeah. This is what's called a dry bag. It's very popular with adventure riders. It's all like a waterproof material, and the idea is you roll this up, then it's waterproof. I mean, why would have to like get into that seal and do like a couple uphill runs to get into your stuff? You can see here, it's kind of rigid. It's got like a plastic sort of core thing. I think we might take that out, and it is removable. Probably sit something like this. The majority of our big bulk items will be going into this guy. Revzilla also sent me this Nelson rig gear, built for adventure hurricane, little enduro tank bag thing. It's waterproof. Try to look up like waterproof tank bags. Doesn't seem like there's a whole ton of them out there on the market there. Guy will sit about there. This is an older Nelson rig bag I've got. See, this is how they more commonly come, where it's a fairly waterproof material, but it's not really a waterproof zipper. So you have this sort of bag you put over it if you think you're gonna get into the rain. This one's not waterproof, but these two are. So before we install them, I thought it'd be kind of fun, you know, let's test that out. Looks good, other than the water I'm like leaking in myself right now. Yeah. Well, that worked. No water got inside. Everything looks good. Wanted to thank today's video sponsor, Blinkist, for sponsoring this video. And this is really cool, guys. This is an app you can put on your phone or browse it on the web that lets you read or listen to books, but not just any kind of books and not just any kind of way. Blinkist has over 3,000 non-fictional books. That's what they're all about. And most of these books seem to be about helping yourself, like productivity, communication skills, motivation, health and nutrition, creativity, relationship stuff. It generally just seems to be stuff about bettering yourself. Second thing that makes them very different, these books have been condensed down to around a 15-minute read or listen. Just a few minutes ago, I was doing a little bit of cleaning here in the garage. I had this one playing. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. Really good. I think it was like 15 minutes or so. Like I said, I was just walking around here, I had a headphone in, I was doing some cleaning, and it's cool. I'm getting all like the highlights. This way you could really remember the main components to the book. Would have been harder to remember all those things otherwise. I loved it. It was really cool. I got this one here called the 5 a.m. Club. Own your morning, evaluate your life. Yeah, that's this whole Corona thing. How many of us are waking up at ridiculous hours now? I know. We've gotten a little better lately, but yeah, I'm gonna give this one a listen to a little bit later here. If you want to get like more into depth, there is a lot of full audio books as well. Blinkist will give you a 7-day free trial, and if you choose to continue with it, it's 25% off, but that's only to the first 100 people that go to the link in the description. Try it out. Help yourself out, help me out too. So yeah, click that link, give it a shot. And big thanks to Blinkist for sponsoring this video. Thank you. I've had this laying around forever. It's got a USB on it, a cigarette lighter. You got one of these things, stick it in there. Now you can do 4 things. I think this one even tells you your voltage, if I remember correctly. This is meant to be mounted like somewhere on your handlebars, but instead what I would probably do, put some good shrink wrap down this, insulate it real well, run that cable down the bike like this, because it's gonna have a strap running right here, holding our bag on. What I could run it to is this guy right here. This goes directly to the battery, has its own fuse on it. Have that just dropped off and have this sitting in the bag to use. I'm protected since I've got fuses on everything, that's not a problem. What I won't have is any way to switch this on and off. It'll just be running all the time, it's direct to the battery, which normally I would advise against. I think for the purposes of charging some of these USBs that don't pull a whole lot, I'm just gonna leave them connected, and if I get off the bike for a minute or two, it's fine. That won't drain the battery down, but if I get off for a while or stop into camp, I can unplug it and just put the caps over the ends and everything is fine. I think that's just a simple solution because this isn't something I really want to mount permanently on the bike. It's something I just want to kind of have live in this bag when this bag is mounted and then to come off when the bag comes off. This is a bit funny. I thought this thing would have had a smaller like fuse in it than this would have. This cable and the one on the bike have 7.5 amps and I'm thinking this is a smaller one, right? So I'm going to like see what size this is, then downgrade the one that's in here. But this has a 10 amp fuse in it. Going to put this tail on there and let the 7.5 on there rock and roll it. USBs pull such a small amount of amperage. I don't think it's a problem, but make this the correct length things, yes. Okay. God, that's hot right there. Woo. We've got our contraption that we've built, but does it work? It's worth noting that because this is one that was meant to go on a bike like right to the battery, and so is this one, you have to do the polarity the other way. Does that make any sense? And there it is, 13.4. This one, you've got a male on both sides. These of course are all female on the bag. Well, I assumed it's thing there. What they want you to do is actually loop this under the frame. So, oh yeah, once that's through there. Your other straps are gonna look something like this strap with a loop. You just take this guy and pull it through. So my legs clearly make contact with the straps if you put them like that. But is it a problem? It's not a problem, it's fine. The straps, I mean, they're not even really making heavy contact with anything. So I'm not worried about them, but yeah, we'll have a graphics kit over it, which will replaceable barrier between the strap and these things. Pretty sure that this would still work even if you didn't have a radical MT-07. So if you're looking for a good waterproof bag, it's probably a pretty good option. All right, now we gotta kind of cinch everything up. I think we wanna bias this thing as much forward as we can, so just kind of keep checking. Well, I think that turned out really, really well. The wires look really clean. It all tucks in very nice. Isn't an interference when you're sitting on the bike, but we need to test it, and that's what I've got here. Enough things to plug 4 things in at once. Even one of these things is a double battery charger. So let's do it. Let's start plugging things in, see if we can pop a fuse or not. The phone is actually up in here, so let's get that plugged in to start with. We are charging, all right. How about a GoPro? There it goes, okay, it's charging. Another action camera with me. One is just not enough. A double battery charger, Insta360, but let's go for it. Oh, there they go, they're charging. The phone is still charging, everything is charging. I can't start it because my kid's trying to go to sleep, but look, there it is. Everything in there, doing its thing. That right to that corner there, flip it down. I think we've gone done it. I think this is another success. All right. So what I'm thinking about doing is mounting it like this. Thing that makes me a little uncomfortable about doing that, I don't really have like a fender back here. I tried to modify a DRZ fender. Like I had an old crappy one. I was gonna see if I could make it work. But instead, what I did is I figured out a way of spending more money. I got this little Tusk front fender bag, tire irons in here, which is really good because this gives it some core sort of strength there. So what I'm thinking about doing is repurposing that into something that sits kind of right here. I don't want the tire flinging stuff into this bag. In this sack right here, I'll probably put some tools. That'll sit something like that. Then our bag can kind of rest like that. A little bit more storage and a better platform. We all win. First task, retooling this thing. I don't think these are gonna want to go back through. Got an idea though. 4 straps now coming down. And this light's pretty well blocked too, but I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. All right, there she is. Very, very firm at this point. Bridging our gap there. Still get into it. This is with the rigid core thing in there. I wanna try taking this piece out and seeing what it looks like without it. Yeah, there it is. Without it, it's there's no extra pockets in there. It's just a bag now. You put this through here like this, and then that holds it in. So I've moved things around several more times. Basically, it would sit like this. I've got these straps fairly loose right now because I figured out you have to have them pretty loose until you start getting stuff in it. Then you want to tighten them up, otherwise it does funny things. It would sit roughly, these straps end up almost straight when I had it tightened down. It's about like that. I've ridden around with it like this, and it's totally doable. One of the things I always see on adventure bikes that people are going around the whole world on, they always seem to have some kind of mascot. A lot of times they'll have like a little stuffed animal or something funny on the bike. A friend of mine sells these things. They're called, I guess he calls them the little buddy for life guys. I think it's paracord, made into a little man with a little Lego guy on him. Here's what I got out of the package. And I think they're just really funny. I'll put a link to these in the description. We'll say his name is Jim. This is my buddy Jim. There. So now I'm gonna show you everything I'm gonna be putting in the bag. I mean, I've got most everything here, most of the main stuff. I do actually have a good bit of experience camping. I was in the Boy Scouts there, and I wasn't just a part of one of these Boy Scout groups where like you park and all the dads cook hot dogs and you throw frisbees. I was in one of these, we live and die by patrol, so it's pretty true. I think I was a patrol leader by the time I was like 12, 13 years old. Yeah, you're hiking out, camping, adults are like way over there, you're over here. One good thing is I do have some experience when I'm looking at camping equipment and stuff out there. At the same time, things have really changed. There's a whole just different, like I used to have one of those big square metal backpacks. I mean, the thing probably weighed 70 pounds all loaded up. I think things have mostly changed for the best, just looking at how much smaller things are and how much more convenient. I'm gonna show you the items and stick them in there kind of as we go. Let's talk about tents. The world has changed a whole lot with that, and one of the more popular things now is the hammock tent, and I have gone that route with this, the Haven. I don't want to sound like one of those kids who was like, I was into that band before it was popular, but I was kind of doing this before it was a thing. We figured out pretty early on in Scouts that if you bring a hammock, it's really nice when it's super hot out. But they didn't really have hammock tents back then, and you don't really want to sleep in a hammock typically because they arch your back. I used to put a net hammock out and either like pull it super tight and stake the corners down. I liked it. I thought it was really cool. I think it's funny when I kind of went back and looked into camping and I'm like, oh, y'all caught on to that. You're welcome, world. The only thing I didn't like about all the hammock tents out there is they're all curved. Well, this one's flat. I've actually gone out and thrown it up. There's an Instagram video you guys may have seen of me throwing this thing up. And it lays flat. It legitimately lays flat. There's a lot of hammocks that have like this, it's flat, but it's like, you just see people, you see these videos where people are in it, they're clearly not flat. They're like, oh, it's great, I'm really flat. Or the ones where the people are in another hammock, they're like, it's fine, you just gotta lay asymmetrical. And they're like, see, I'm totally flat. They're clearly not. Like, everyone's delusional in these videos just because they like the system. I think it's how small it is, and it's nice to be swinging in a hammock. But this is actually crazy legit flat. This is everything in it. This has got the rain tarp in it, the air mattress. This is the bag, is the pump itself, all contained into this. This is a pillow. And one thing when you have a air mattress, you put a pillow on them, they tend to slide off. So what this guy has is some little dimples on here, plus an elastic strap that you would wrap around your air mattress. So I think that's a really smart idea. Survive the dust, survive the sweat. They say these are 100% biodegradable. This is for cleaning yourself up. You don't really have a shower with you, you know, you're gonna do all that. I've seen a lot of talks in these videos where people are like, you don't need to bring a chair. I know me, I need a chair. I wanted a chair when I was young. I got to the point in camping pretty quickly where I learned you want a chair. And the cool thing is the chairs have gotten crazy small compared to how they used to be. Check this thing out. Super smart idea here. Of course, you have to be sitting in a chair to assemble your chair. Gotta make a funny face and then boom, there it is, there's your chair. Yeah, my knees and back are not gonna sit on the ground after riding all day and cook dinner and hang out. No. Now this, super cool. This is one of the other things, I'm sure people say, you don't need one of these, but I don't believe you. It's just a little table, man. Cool about this little fold-out table is it's metal. There, little table. Metal. This gives me a place to cook. Speaking of cooking, got the mess kit here. When I was camping, I mean, the only ones we really knew about were those metal ones you got at Walmart. Those things suck. Got a little gas thing. This is supposed to be the coffee mug that this thing comes with, which, I mean, if you can tell, this is hilarious. This is basically useless. I'll let my kids play with that in their play kitchen. Little set of silverware, pop it in there. Pretty cheap, so just make sure you get them real clean if you buy a set like this, because you'll find it's not that high grade of stainless. This is the entire stove right here. This one has a little igniter in it, but got me that time. A lot of the cooking that people, when they're doing things like this, it seems like you're boiling something like some kind of noodle or something, or you're doing some dehydrated thing. It almost always seems to have to do with boiling water. Check this out. You've got this little thing, right? So you open it up, these grab onto the side of your cup, and what you do is you open this, it opens up, and that's your coffee, and this is the filter, so you actually pour this through. What's cool about this being a metal table, of course, is I can put the pan right on here. You would think that this would be like crazy, but it's not bad. That's a full rolling boil right there. You fill it up a little, some of it spills out like that, and it's gotta like, you know, kind of work back down through the filter, through the coffee. Yeah, young me didn't need coffee as much. Now I feel like this is something I'm gonna have to have. There you go, get a little stir. I did throw a little thing of creamer there. Probably, I think I put a little much. It's okay. I put too much creamer in there. But yes, camping me will very much enjoy that. Here, check this out. I think I got this from Motorcycle Superstore when they existed, before they just merged into J&P, which is now Revzilla. So hey, we've come around there. This is a little tire pump, foot operated one. I have aired up a tire, like a full rear tire, one of these before. But what I've also stuffed in there, plug tool, do a patch into your tire. Still need to get a little first aid kit. I need to get some clothes. It's kind of tight in here, I can tell you that already. This is like a 24, 25 liter bag, which I thought was plenty. It shows how ignorant, I don't know. I'm out of the loop of it, but what I might end up doing is getting maybe a second, like 10 liter little dry roll bag on the top here. I think that could hold like my clothes, sleeping bag. I can stuff that stuff in there. The Reacts bag here actually comes with these little straps that are meant to kind of go through here, over to the other side, and there's another one that goes up front, and this is something you can use to strap some things like that down right on top, which is kind of a good place. You end up with a bit of a backrest, because I have ridden around with this thing stuffed full of just like clothes and stuff just to see what it felt like, and it is nice. You have a little something to put your back against. I'll also have on me my Camelback backpack, which holds an entire gallon on its own of water. So Olight just happened to have great timing. They were like, hey, do you need any lights? I was like, yeah, absolutely. They sent me this little guy low and like a high. That high is ridiculous. And look, if you unscrew it all the way, it reveals a little USB. It's rechargeable. This is cool. I think every keychain needs one of these. Yeah, you gotta do what camping channels do, right? Oh, so the light's got a, pretty decent throw to it. What do they say? I don't know. They also sent me these two crazy lights, M2R Pro Warrior. This one is 1800 lumens. Throws the light crazy far. I actually had this thing with me when we went on vacation. I was able to, like, from the 3rd story or whatever it was, from our like little condo on the beach we were renting, I could see, like the ocean was pretty far down there. I could shine this out there, it was insane. But it does have a moonlight mode. Moonlight, low, medium, high, and then you're really high. Cool thing though, when you want to recharge them, there's just a little clip that goes on the back. This guy, which is even a little bit smaller, this is 2000 lumens, but this is a floodlight. Let's turn all the lights off for this guy. Here's your moonlight mode, pretty reasonable. Low, medium, high, turbo mode as they call it. Yeah, pretty insane light. This one actually has, watch, I'll get my fingers kind of into the beam here, and you see how it's got a proximity sensor so you don't catch things on fire. Clip this guy on. I've already seen just from taking the trash out, it's ridiculously goofy looking but convenient to have a headlamp because now you get your hands. Yeah, these lights will definitely come with me. Olight hooked me up with a discount code, which is this thing right here, and it'll save you some bucks. So be sure to use that. Check them out. Really cool of them to hook it up. Seeing that once you have your bags like this on, you have to do the old adventure hop, which is you get your leg up like this, and you go. And you're on. And look at that, I got a backrest now. That's pretty nice. But this is it. This is the bike. See, it's been off-roading already a few times. There's been a little video of that here and there. But the bike this is really done now. This is how it'll go when we go on trips. There's room to expand things. There's room to still add other things on this. And I'm sure I'll do little things to it as it goes. I want to also give a big thanks to all those who supported by buying the merch for this thing. Ordered one of those giant flags or one of those shirts or a mug or whatever other silly thing. I always try to put on a couple of goofy things. And huge thanks, of course, to the Patreons who make these videos possible in the first place. There's an uncensored ad-free, longer version of this video over on Patreon. The entire series is over an hour and a half longer on Patreon. I'm trying to explain to somebody the other day, I said you could almost think like Patreon is like the director's cut, and like the YouTube version is like the made-for-TV version. That's just a game we have to play when we're doing public uploads like that. I've been wanting to get this bike next to an actual Tannery 700. It's funny, so many of y'all gave me a hard time, like, you know, you can get 700s now in the United States. I've yet to actually see one. There's like dealerships get a couple of them and they're already spoken for, but they're doing demo rides today up at the Yamaha dealership, and I know they have 2 Tanneries up there. So I think I'm gonna bring this thing up there. I might just leave all the luggage on it. I'm gonna run up there just to say what's up and at least try to get some pictures next to the Tannery. I might take it on a ride, but those rides are like, not anything to get excited about. But then we'll start on this thing and we're off to doing adventures real soon here. It's starting to cool off. The guys are itching to go. We'll film something cool. Keep an eye out for it. Thanks for watching.